Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the weekly press briefing of the Kosovo Specialist Chambers, where we aim to provide journalists with an update on the latest developments at the court and the opportunity to ask questions. During the status conference in the Thaci et al. Case on 4th November 2022, the pretrial judge confirmed that he intends to transfer the case to a trial panel by the end of the year. He also said that this probably would be the last status conference in the pretrial phase unless otherwise necessary. A public redacted version of Mr. Thaci's pretrial brief, which was filed on 21st October, is now available. In terms of remaining deadlines, the pretrial judge ordered the defense to provide their objections, if any, regarding the admissibility of evidentiary material by 18th of November. The deadline for the prosecution to file a provisional list of the first 40 witnesses they intend to call during the trial is also the 18th of November. In the same case, pursuant to an order of the pretrial judge, the prosecution has reviewed the classification of evidentiary material, and the pretrial judge has granted their request that more than 8,000 documents and exhibits be reclassified as public. In the case of Pieta Shala, Victims' Counsel filed a submission before the trial panel on reparation proceedings in the case. In the submission, counsel asks that proceedings on eventual reparations for the victims be conducted in parallel with the criminal proceedings. Counsel further submits that if the trial panel finds Mr. Shala guilty, the judges should issue an order on reparations themselves, rather than referring the matter for civil litigation in Kosovo. The Victims' Counsel also asked that the panel include in its judgment a decision on the scope and extent of any damage, loss, or injury to the victims, independent of any reparations order and regardless of whether the trial panel finds Mr. Shala guilty or innocent. The trial panel has not yet issued a decision on these submissions. In the case of Mr. Hisni Gutsati and Mr. Nasim Haradinaj, on 3rd November, the Court of Appeals panel denied applications by the defense requesting the appeals panel to reconsider its earlier decision rejecting the defense's request to amend their notices of appeal. The issues raised by the defense in their earlier requests related to an alleged disclosure violation by the prosecution during the trial proceedings. In its decision, the appeals panel reminded the defense that if a party identifies a potential disclosure violation alleged after the conclusion of trial proceedings, it may seek alternate relief by filing a motion before the appeals panel. In other words, the panel concluded that the notices of appeal are not the correct way to challenge an alleged disclosure violation. Considering that all submissions filed before the specialist chambers shall be public unless there are exceptional reasons for keeping them confidential, the Court of Appeals panel ordered the two defense teams to file public redacted versions of their requests within 7 days. The Court of Appeals panel also issued a decision on the agenda for the upcoming appeal hearing scheduled on 1st and 2nd of December 2022. The session on 1st December will start with introductory statements by the presiding judge. Afterwards, the two defense teams may present their arguments before the panel. On 2nd December, the prosecution may respond to the arguments of the defense teams, and the defense teams may thereafter reply to the prosecution. Mr. Gutsati and Mr. Haradinaj will also have the option of addressing the panel. The hearing will finish with concluding statements by the presiding judge. The appeal hearing can be followed from the public gallery or with a 45 minutes delay via the streaming function on the KSC website.